Support for this program comes from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
From our studios at KUOM, on the west bank of the University of Minnesota campus, this is Culture Q, the art show that rocks. This week on Culture Q, Animal Crossing. Good evening and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Mark Sheely. Just as important as the relationship we have with other people are the relationships that we have with the creatures around us. They can give us companionship, others food, and sometimes disease and even death. So tonight we're bringing you stories on the wildlife in our lives. But first, a story from producer Tess Weinberg on the Northern Spark Festival, one which celebrates the city of Minneapolis by encouraging festival goers to think and wonder through a night of citywide art viewing.
It's Dusk to Dawn Art Festival, so we begin at 9 p.m. on Saturday, June 9th, and end at 5:26 a.m. on Sunday, June 10th.
It's a different kind of 9 to 5.
The 9 to 5 when you're normally sleeping. All right, my name is Sarah Peters, and I'm the Director of Public Engagement for the Northern Spark Festival. And that means that I work with a lot of different people to help make the festival happen, primarily our partnering organizations.
They're working with 52 cultural partners to put this event on.
Northern Spark is an all-night celebration of art, technology, community, and the city.
Part of the goal is to create unique art experiences.
In normal places like galleries, but then to also put art where art normally isn't.
There are 5 zones and 120 pieces of art that span across Minneapolis and St. Paul.
By over 200 artists presented in 26 venues in partnership with 52 cultural organizations.
All centered around one river.
Yeah, the river is I think an important conceptual component to the festival. Several of the artists that are doing projects around the Stone Arch Bridge area talk about being inspired by the river. So an example of that would be the signature project of the festival is called Think and Wonder, Wonder and Think, which comes from Dr. Seuss in letters that are 8 feet tall that are going to hang off the side of the Stone Arch Bridge to highlight that iconic architecture with a piece of text that we think really captures the spirit of Northern Spark. It's infused with the sense of magic and possibility throughout the city in the middle of the night.
Hey. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Good. Hold on, let me just finish cutting. Oh, yes.
I walked into the studio, and the artist of Think and Wonder, Wonder and Think, Robin Schwartzman, was cutting some industrial wire to hang the 8-foot letters over the Stone Arch Bridge.
So then you're going to use the wire to hang?
Yeah. My name is Robin Schwartzman, and I'm an adjunct instructor and CNC router technician here at the University of Minnesota.
And you're an artist?
I am, yes, I'm also an artist.
But they shouldn't with all this. But I did. That's why.
My piece, Think and Wonder, Wonder and Think, it spans giant 8-foot illuminated letters across both sides of the Stone Arch Bridge, and they're lit by 4,510 LEDs.
How many light bulbs are there?
4,510. Each letter weighs about 200 pounds, and so there's 28 letters in total, and again, they spell out this Dr. Seuss quote, Think and Wonder, Wonder and Think, and the letters will hang between the arches on both sides of the bridge. I've been working on a couple other smaller pieces here and there, some drawings and smaller sculptures, but this is kind of my baby right now.
After months of working and help from friends and people in the community.
So what are you hoping the reaction will be?
I'm hoping for a lot of smiles, and I really want this piece to be accessible for a broad audience, because it's not going to be just gallery goers who are going to see it, it's going to be the entire city, and so little kids can appreciate it.
Grandparents, businessmen, students, anyone.
This piece is really about the city and about community and kind of bringing people to the river to celebrate Minneapolis and what it has to offer.
The tools that you should bring with you for your night, primarily, I think the primary tool is a sense of adventure.
You can plan your night. Northern Spark has created many tools for you to do so. Or
you could just sort of set off on a path and see what happens.
Thinking and wondering about places that a lot of us see almost every day seems impossible.
That's a good question. One of the sentiments that came across very strongly in the surveys that we did last year spoke to this notion of Northern Spark creating a feeling that this is the city we deserve, which is not to say that all the rest of the time Minneapolis is a city that we don't deserve, but it created such a sense of wonder and awe.
Peters says that it takes all of the wonderful things about Minneapolis, its cultural resources, the people, the river, and
the festival highlights all of those things and brings them into a sharp focus at a time when we are normally asleep.
For more information about the artists, the art, or amenities,
things such as bathrooms, food vendors, bike stations,
you can go to NorthernSpark.org. For Culture Q, I'm Tess Weinberg.
White horse arching among us. Anyway you run before us. Black and white horse arching among us.